Welcome to Proven. My name is Clay Croft with Expedition Overland here, and today I want to talk to you about some proven concepts when it comes to vehicle electronics that we use when it comes to getting all of this to be clean. As overlanders, we like our gadgets. I like my gadgets. I'm a gadget guy. I'm not ashamed of that at all. It's part of the fun for me to interact with different devices, look at maps, talk on radios, interact with satellite things, and it's just a lot of fun. I find it to be part of the enjoyment of being out and about in a vehicle. So over the years, we've kind of started to perfect how we wire all this stuff up so that it looks like it's installed from the factory or that a pro did it. And I'm going to relay some of those tips to you today on what we've learned over the years. Before you start building up a vehicle, you can make an electronics plan that will give you a map and a roadmap to getting a really clean and safe install. Safety is a big deal. The only near catastrophe I've ever had with a vehicle outside of a rollover was an engine fire that was due to some poor wiring. So from there, we really started to pay more attention to what we were doing. What we did first off is build fuse blocks inside the vehicle. In the new Gladiator, we have a fuse panel that we've brought in. We brought in one power source from the main battery into the side panel, into the kick panel down here, so that we don't have all these power wires running from all the different devices through the firewall into the battery. We brought one in, and then we use that location to tap our other power sources into the vehicle. So as we wire into the vehicle and run cabling behind panels or even underneath or into the engine bay, we always reinforce it with a split loom of some kind. We used to use the plastic split loom for a lot of stuff. You can get this at Napa, AutoZone, all kinds of places, Amazon. We've moved away from this stuff. We have found in just a year or two, especially in hot environments, sun being underneath, plastic stuff is horrible. It just breaks down. When you go to work on it later, it piles up a bunch of dust and mud in there because water can't permeate through it. We have just all out stopped using this now. So I would recommend not using plastic split loom, but going towards wire or the mesh loom, which looks like this. This is the equivalent in size. It's split down the center. You can run your cabling through it, and then it just rolls around it. This has been far better. And here's a smaller version of it right here for just single or double line poles for really small electronics. The failures come from microscopic vibrations over time on wires. So one more sheath over the top of it where the two can slip independent of each other has pretty much eliminated wire fatigue in our vehicles for the most part to date. It's not a bad idea too to put a service loop in some things where you just go around and you make one loop and maybe you attach it or zip tie it down before you put something on there. That way, if in the event you have to work on it, you can snip this off and reattach a new end on it without having to replace the entire wire. We really like to think through where we put our equipment. What almost everybody carries around with them to a degree is an iPad or tablet device. We're using the really heavy duty RAM mount. We used to use the $16, $18, forget what it is, soft metal RAM mount for these. And we've pretty much all out eliminated those from our systems. I would really encourage you now, if you're out there looking for this, to buy once, cry once. I have gone through all of the cheap ones and eventually replaced all of them with the hard mounted system, and now I can't tell you how much better of an improvement. It's $150 better, let's put it that way. So yeah, we like to keep things, especially tablets, at an arm's reach. So I should be able, just like how an auto manufacturer builds all their switches to be able to be reached within an arm's reach, we like to do the same thing with our accessories. So I can go right to my tablet and work on it. I can go right to my Overlander and work on it. I can go right up to my radio and work on it and see it. I'm not having to strain to get to something, to reach, to, you know, make whatever I need happen. Cables are the death of having a vehicle look clean. So we've really started adding a lot of auxiliary power ports. We use Blue Sea switches, Blue Sea products a lot in our vehicles, and in particular the high-end USB dual port ports that have the higher amperage and wattage designed for today's more powerful tablets. Amazon carries all this stuff. That's where we get it. We'll put some links to it below. And then we install them. So we figure out where we want to run our wires. We pull all the dashes apart, and then we run USB ports near the devices that we're running all the time. For example, the Overlander, this Garmin Verb 360, it has a power port. We have an InReach Mini right here that we like to have powered all the time. And some of these take USB, some of them take direct wire. If we can find a direct wire source, we'll use that first. For example, the InReach. When we requested our products from Garmin, we asked for the marine attachment because it comes with a 12-volt cabling to permanently wire an InReach. Great for a boat, great for a truck. For the Garmin Overlander, what we did here is, instead of using the supplied USB mini to cigarette adapter, which they all come with, where you would just plug it in, we used a USB mini to regular USB and plugged it into a USB port on the back that we wired into the vehicle. Now what you can do there is go on Amazon and buy for a few dollars really short cables, and this just keeps everything so clean, and it allows you to have dedicated cables where they need to be, basically out of sight, and you're not playing switchboard with all the devices over the day. That's a big distraction while you're driving, and this eliminates it. Instead, almost everything has gone to USB of some kind. So we took our cigarette lighter adapter in this vehicle and swapped it out with a dual USB port with a voltage readout on it so that we can tell at a glance what the batteries are doing. Managing the USB cables in this way allows us to use the supplied USB ports for just a phone, or to running music or whatnot, and it's not being left overburdened by trying to charge all the electronics throughout the day. And as you can see, all of our electronics right here are running, and you can't see any of the cables. Other ways of mounting electronics, we really use the ram mount suction cup a lot. This has been proven over years to work really well. You can move it around, put it where you need to use it for the moment, and they're really stable. We do try to keep things off of the actual glass and off of the dash if it's not attached, mostly because in the event of an accident, we don't want all the stuff coming at us. We can't eliminate all of that due to production needs with cameras and all that. We have a lot going on, but we do try to keep our dashes as clutter-free as possible. Another cool way to hide electronics is to take away things that you're not using. For example, we're not able to use a rear view mirror anymore in this Jeep because we have a solid background with the P-core on the back. So we eliminated it. We took it out, and we found that to be the perfect place for our 2-meter ham radio to go. Was able to run the network cable for the head unit up through the headliner, down through the A-pillars, and to the radio units, and you can't even see how the radio is attached. Microphones have always been like this, where do you put them? And for us, we have found that we really like the Steely balls from Night Eyes. I wouldn't use the extreme magnetic one. We can't seem to keep that attached to the microphones. The smaller one is really great. And you're not looking for the hook and scratching up stuff and banging things around. It's magnetic, so it goes right to its home, and you can keep your eyes on the road, talk, put it back. Your hand memorizes it quickly, and it's just efficient. Anywhere where your hands are going to rest a lot, I like to take 3M vinyl, typically that we get from our wraps, leftover stuff, and place it right where all of your hands and where things rub. Where microphones tend to bang, see, like right here, we haven't addressed this yet. That's not a great spot for the microphone right now. Maybe we should move this just over to here so that this cable isn't touching these knobs. Over time, give it a year, that's going to be all wore out. It's going to look bad. Anywhere where the cables rub on the plastics, we will come in and put a little vinyl piece down there and protect it. A lot of flat matte black stuff works great. Thinking of resale, consider where you drill into your dash. Drilling into your dash can be detrimental to your resale. People may not get it. So you want to make sure that you do it right and it looks really clean and will be useful down the road to whoever may purchase it, and it doesn't hurt you on a resale. A lot of the newer vehicles, they have cubbies and pockets, and on top of that cubby or pocket you might have a piece of plastic that goes over the top of it to make it look finished. We'll take that right out and put it in a drawer for resale. We mount all of our stuff underneath it. In the event that we go to sell the vehicle and we want to pull that piece of equipment back out, we're going to put it into another rig or whatnot. That comes out and we can put the other piece right back in, and it is back to factory. Step bits are a wonder when it comes to drilling holes into the dashes, and this 90-degree bit is essential as well. It's really tough to get a drill up against glass and get a nice clean hole placed, so we use this 90-degree with a step bit to get it just right. After you drill a hole, go the extra mile. Go down to Lowe's, Hardware, go on Amazon, wherever, and find little black grommets that fit inside the hole that you just drilled. These are our proven methods. As you can see, that this is what we do in almost all of our vehicles. Some of them even go to greater lengths than this, but I hope that that gave you some tools on your next install through things that we have done that are proven within Expedition Overland here. See you on the next one.